Want to talk about how to choose a spouse. And this is specifically for people who struggle with like picking someone and actually sticking to it because they have a lot of fears of like, what if I'm making the wrong choice? Or what if there's someone better out there? Or what if just all the what ifs? And typically these people are a lot more on the avoidant side of things. They avoid making decisions. It just feels like a lot of pressure, a lot of overwhelm. So I want to help you break it down in this video to help you understand how to pick a spouse and for why for some people it's much easier to pick a spouse and like the phrase like if you know you know versus for some people they just won't ever know because of all the anxiety, the relationship anxiety of like, but what if it's not the right one and we're not connected enough and we're not compatible enough. And so I just want to kind of break it down and help you understand from a coaching psychology perspective how brains make decisions. And my main topic that I wanted to bring up is the credit belongs to Barry Schwartz. He has the book The Paradox of Choice, and he talks about maximizers versus satisfiers. And when someone is picking a spouse, they're either stuck being a maximizer or or make a decision based off of, yep, this works for me, this is good enough, let's go. And people who are, too picky or get really stuck and hung up on little small tiny things or just really struggle with making a decision because it's not they feel like it's not perfect enough. The way they think is I need to make the most out of my decision to make sure I never get it wrong and I want to like get the maximum benefit as much as I can. So they think in order to have the greatest marriage, they have to have everything that they're thinking should be in a person. All right, I'm talking all the little preferences, not just the must-haves, the preferences, the way they are, the way they act, everything should be in this one person, and this is called a maximizer. So let me just define maximizer versus satisfiers. Maximizers want the absolutely best option, the best looking person, the smartest person. They're not looking for compatibility, they're looking for the best. And they think best means better. They think best looking means better intimacy. And they're chasing best instead of looking for like what's gonna actually work with me. So maximizers are usually less happy because they're constantly thinking about how can I get it better? What if I choose something and something else comes out better? So they're constantly thinking about that. They're constantly thinking about I settled, I didn't make the right choice, this, that. So you hear people always like really, really obsessed about like making sure they don't settle. It's because they're stuck on like I need the most perfect option in my mind. And to them, anything like that's not that means they've settled or it's like not the absolute best. And again, I'm talking more to the people who they meet someone who's really good, who by like just everything, values is good, attraction is good, all this is good, but it's not to the level of like absolute best because in their mind they've set a standard of like a happy marriage is if I get exactly what I'm looking for, exactly what I want. Now, I need to preface this because there's all kinds of people watching this video and coming from very different attachment styles, different backgrounds, all of it. I am specifically talking to people who they meet someone who's really good, who they know it would be a good option, but they still have the thought that there's could be something better out there. I'm not talking to people who are just like wanting to settle because they're just like nothing, no one loves me, no one's gonna love me, so let me just pick whatever. Okay. Now, let me define what satisfiers is. Satisfiers, they look for what's good enough that works for them, and they're happier because they're not stuck in decision fatigue. They're not constantly stuck in, I didn't make a good enough decision, what's wrong with me? They're not, they just make the most out of whatever option they choose. So this is applicable, and if you want to learn more about this, you can read the Paradox of Choice book. But it's just more like everywhere you go, right? If you go to the grocery store, there are people who like really try to look for the most deals and the most this and like all like like really drain themselves to make a decision on like what kind of cheese they want versus someone who's like, "Yep, this cheese works, let's go." And they go home, they eat, they live, they move on. The maximizers are the ones who are constantly thinking about how can I make the most out of this so that I don't punish myself if I miss out on something that I could have had. And so they're afraid of what it means about them if they made the wrong choice. And instead of what satisfiers do is whatever they pick, they make the most out of it. They're willing to whatever they end up with, whatever job they end up with, whatever car, whatever, house, anything at all. They're like that thing doesn't make me happy. I'm the one that makes the most out of it. When it comes to marriage, whatever you choose, you might choose the most perfect looking thing, but eventually in the marriage there will things that will come out that you're like, "Whoa, I did not I thought I didn't choose this part of your humanness. How come I didn't see this when I was choosing?" And so they don't have the skills to learn how to be happy in a marriage. They don't have the skills to learn how to accept another person's flaws, accept how to make the most out of what's currently happening because we live in a real life situation where things happen, people have flaws, and you don't see them in the beginning. So when people are stuck on how can I pick the absolute best, they're thinking mentally, subconsciously, they're thinking if I pick the absolute best, I'll have the best marriage of my life, which is not the case at all. Just not the case at all. What makes a good marriage is eventually when you get to know each other and all the flaws come out, you're learning how to actually deal with it, accept with it, and learn how to be happy with the things that you don't like about them. This is so key. How can you learn that it's not the best that makes you happy, it's what you make it in the relationship? So when someone asks me, how do I make a good relationship? It's how are you choosing to be in that relationship, no matter how the person is. It's your attitude. It's the way you show up. It's the way you learn how to accept them. The drama stories in your head about, like, oh, this, they're not doing it right. This, all of that contributes to the quality of the marriage. So being a maximizer will, in the beginning, as you're choosing, just shows that you have not developed the skills of the flexibility of what it means to make the most out of a situation in a marriage, which is a very good skill you need in marriage. Like what I mean by that is like problems will come up, all types of problems will come up that you won't want, obviously. You didn't expect that didn't plan. How will you handle it? There's no maximizing in that situation. So what maximizers tend to do is blame themselves for not choosing even better. And the problem with the mentality of what if there's better out there is that, yes, there will always be better out there. There will always be someone who's better looking, smarter, emotionally more intelligent, more successful, all the things. There's always going to be out there. The best isn't what makes a marriage work. Um, it might make your ego happy for a couple months, but it won't make your marriage last. What makes a marriage last is is values. Is values, is values, is values. And I know some of y'all have been listening to me for a long time, and all I blab about is values, but that's what makes it work. Why? Because values is the core foundation of how a human operates and the way they think, the way they act, even the type of quality thoughts they have uh, stems from what they value. And so if someone values honesty, they will have thoughts and they will act in a way that's very honest, that's very this, that's very that. That doesn't come from being the best person. That doesn't come from being the best looking, the best this, the best that. It comes from what truly, truly matters on on a core level, what matters in a marriage. So, what we want to do, especially in relationships, in human relationships, we want to not become maximizers and we want to become satisfiers, which is we look for what's good enough. What's a human that's good enough? And like I've said before, typically when you're picking someone, it's like I say this number to kind of give a rough estimate, but like 70% you're like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. 30% you're like, ugh, there's so much like this is really hard to accept, but I'm willing to tolerate, right? It's like a good enough package where you're not looking for the absolute perfection best, and you tell your brain, this is the package I'm picking, this is good enough. We can work it out from here. And so when I say what's good enough, you want to focus on what is absolutely necessary. What is absolutely necessary that you need in a relationship in order for it to function well. Okay. Um, as an example, when I was thinking of my absolute like must-haves, absolute must-haves, and by the way, this is not preferences. Absolute must-haves is I'm someone who like I really don't like to be like told how to act and how to be and be controlled and all that. So I one of my values that I was looking for is someone who's flexible and understanding. I need that in a relationship. Otherwise, I can't be with someone who's too rigid. So that was something I was looking for in a husband. Is he flexible? Is he understanding? Is he empathetic? And you just want to focus on that. And if you see things that you don't um like he's not the right, he's not the same ethnicity that you want. He doesn't have the same exact job that you're hoping he would have, or same thing with the woman. Like I'm talking to men too, by the way. Men, y'all sometimes be too much maximizing over here. But in terms of like what you're looking for in a woman, what truly, truly matters to you? I've seen men who marry like a 10 out of 10 woman, like in terms of looks, and they end up cheating on her because they don't get they didn't get the values that they wanted in a woman to begin with. What he really needed was someone who appreciates him and supports him and loves him, and he just didn't know how to act, so he just cheated. Like, because he picked wrong in the first place, and first of all, it has like he didn't take the responsibility of like, what do I need? How can I take care of that need for me? And how can I choose someone that would support that need? When we make decisions based off of ego, you will end up in a disastrous marriage. I'm talking, it's okay that your ego has preferences here and there. What I'm talking about absolutely like what is driving you to make the decision. That is what will drive you in the marriage as well. So as an example, if my main priority is I just want to marry someone who's like really successful and good looking so that other people can think and see that I married up and that I'm also good enough. Okay, let's say that's my reason. Sounds like a decent reason, right? In terms of how that shows up in the marriage, I'm going to be constantly making sure that I am showing up as good enough for him and that he sees me as good enough. And then I'm just going to constantly be stressed out about what if I'm not good enough for him. Okay, I've heard that, people wanting that. Like, I just want someone like this. Same thing for men. Same thing for men. Okay. I hear men telling me, I want to, I want this, I want this, I want her to be like this. I want her to be like a baddie who has this much and this. I was like, you realize when you get married, it's not going to be a fun marriage, right? Because all your brain's constantly just going to try to look for how she's going to leave you and cheat on you because you're not good enough for her, right? I'm just kind of giving examples of making decisions based off of ego. It doesn't last. Um, May Allah protect us all. Obviously, the one who decides what ends and begins is Allah. But also, we do have agency in how we choose things and how we think and how we act. And the reason I make these videos is to help you see clearly you cannot choose perfection. You cannot choose, yeah, he has this, yeah, he's a good person, this, that, but he's not from this ethnicity, and that's a big problem for me because what if I can't handle the culture clash? No, you gotta adjust to it. You gotta challenge yourself and be like, why is that such a problem for me? Because remember, I talked in another video, God wraps your spouse in a different packaging than what you'll expect. And it'll be a good package. It's just not the wrapping that you want, which is a good thing because our spouses are designed to bring out things in us that we need to work on. And I'll say this again, but like whatever it is that sometimes people are like, I don't want someone, I only want from my city, or I only want someone who makes more than me because then I'll be and then Allah sends them someone who's literally exactly everything they're looking for, but they just have that one thing that's missing. Then they make a decision. Okay, why do I really, really want this? Is this coming, like, does this truly, truly matter to me? Or am I just told that this matters to me? So this, and is this coming from a fear? You want to question all of it. If there's any fears driving you in your decision making, you're going to become a maximizer. You're going to be like, "Oh, yeah, this is good, but it's not good enough. It's not like best. It's not the best. I could get the best." So uh, just kind of think about this for yourself. Do you feel like when you meet someone, immediately you think about like what if I miss out on someone else? Or what if it's not the best? What if there's better out there? That's your work to focus on. And the shift is, how can I see what's good enough and focus on that? Because when you become someone who chooses a human being because you value them for their values and it's good enough, and you're not too picky about how they show up and their actions in this, then you will get the treatment that you want as a human being as well. You will be treated as good enough, and you'll be treated like a human being. When you choose based off of perfection and what's the best option, then you will not act relaxed and safe inside the marriage because you will have those expectations of yourself. If I'm not being the best, then they're gonna leave me because they're gonna go for someone else that's better, right? Because you're thinking that way. Okay, so I've seen so many examples of this, and it kind of prompted me to make this video. So inshallah, this helps someone. And I love when you guys email me, because I got an email yesterday from a guy who told me he got married because of my videos, and I was like, that is literally gold. Like I just get so happy. So if you want to thank me for what I do on my YouTube channel, please email me and tell me how it's helping you, or update me. I'd like to hear from you guys, or just comment on the video. I would also appreciate that as well. And sharing your wins publicly also helps other people see that how to shift and how to be in all this. So, but as a YouTube community, you've got to kind of help each other out, inshallah. Alrighty, inshallah, I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.